folks, and we are here again on the Real Life Real Estate Investing Show. Thank you all for joining me. And as always, like I said, this is the Real Life Real Estate Investing Show where we talk about real life real estate situations, where we bring you real life real estate solutions. And my guest today is none other than the superstar herself, Miss Monique Williams, or Monique Mo Hustle. My bad, Mo Hustle. Got to make sure we represent her well. But she's going to be kicking with us today about a lot of the stuff that she's got going on, how she got started in the business. So hang tight, folks. We'll be right back, and we'll have her on with us. Mo Hustle, what's happening? What's happening?
Hey. Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Hey, listen, it's always like, you know, when you come on the show, it's a select few of y'all when y'all come on the show. I feel, you know, like my team got me doing this formal thing now, but I feel like when you come on the show, you know, like I said, a couple other, it's like I'm just hanging out with family, you know.
Absolutely.
So we just definitely gonna kick it, but I know you're gonna bring your A game because, listen, you know, I had to hit you up the other day. I said, listen, I know I ain't caught you in the field in a while. You know, I guess I got to get back out in the field, you know, yeah, because you're doing some major stuff, right? And I said, folks need to hear about some of the stuff you got going on. You know, of course, I had another guest in this slot today, but they gracefully bowed out so I can get you on to talk about some of the major moves you're making in the market. So, you know, I was gonna give a little bit of bio, but I'll let you tell the folks who you are, and then we'll get into you know, some of the stuff you got going on.
Okay. Well, no, thank you. I definitely appreciate it. It's always good times when we get a chance to come and hang out with Mr. Dollar out of a dime himself.
Thank you.
But yeah. So again, my name is Monique Williams. Everybody in the real estate world calls me Mo Hustle, and you know, my background, I started learning about real estate investing back in 2015.
Okay.
And really started digging into it, you know, really learning exactly what it is. And, you know, I found out that there are just so many avenues in this industry that I had no clue about. So like many, I started, you know, that's a great entryway to get into the business and really learn the foundation of, you know, finding off-market properties, you know, being able to contract with sellers, negotiating offers, you know, things like that. So it's definitely a great way to really come in and learn the foundation of the business. And as you guys can see, I'm actually in the field as we speak. So real life real estate investing
Real life real estate
in
investing.
totality right now. Yes. But yeah, so my ultimate goal was always to get into construction. Like that was always what I wanted to do. But you know, I had to get the tools under my belt first to get there. So currently just completed my first new construction project. Is went on the market, was on there for a very short time, and we got an offer from our first scheduled appointment. And you know, it's definitely been a great experience. So that's what's currently going on with your girl.
Listen, great stuff. And you know what? Because we're gonna get real deep into a lot of that and how you got from the beginning in 2015 and where you are now.
Okay.
So you said it was a great foundation. What was the foundation? How did you get started? Like, what made you get into this crazy world of real estate investing?
So honestly, you know, like a lot of people, you start out watching HGTV and you get a peak, or your interest is peaked in like renovations, right? You see it, you see the numbers, what they bought the property for, how much they put in it, and that profit, and you're just like, wow, you know. So I was actually introduced to someone that was hosting meetups here, you know, that a lot of us were going to. And when I went to that first meeting, my eyes were actually, you know what, before I went to that meeting, I attended a weekend seminar, Fortune Builders. And I did the 3-day, you know, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then from there, they, you know, want you to invest in your long-term education and, you know, all that good stuff. But I met so many people at that event. You know, I collected business cards. And when I really started, like, just interacting with people and networking, I was blown away. You know, I was impressed. I was inspired. I was motivated. And you know, after so long, I was just like, okay, it's time for me to just jump out here and just do it. You know, it's only so much information that you can continue to get on YouTube University or, you know, whatever the case may be. And you really just have to just get out here and get with the right individuals and really just start learning and finding your niche. So I think I answered your question. But yeah, but what motivated me was just really seeing other people doing it and seeing that it's real.
Yeah.
You know, I think a lot of people, you know, that have a corporate background. You know, I went to college. I went to the great Michigan State University. Go green, go white.
Great. That's
We
right.
play.
That's right.
We played that other school this weekend, Michigan. You know, so it's big rival. Yeah, this is our rival week. So you know, I'm super hyped about that.
I didn't go to either one of them, you know, so I rooted for both of them. You know, I didn't even make it that far up into the Lansing or the Ann Arbor area, so I just rooted for them.
Well, this weekend I need you to stay true to the green and white. But yeah, so you know, I think, you know, it's easy to be comfortable, and the thought of discomfort in life is very hard for many people to really just grasp. And when I say that, you know, I'm talking about the guaranteed paycheck that's coming every 2 weeks. Knowing that you have benefits, you know, like all the things that, you know, the benefits of having a job, the security, so to say, you know, so being amongst all these people that are out here really just, you know, they're full time with it. And, you know, from there, this other gentleman that I know, he said, well, I have this friend, Mr. Don Jacobs, that does these house jerk meetings. Like, I think you should go. Man, Glenn, when I went to that first meeting, it was like probably 75 people there on a Thursday night.
Wow.
I was like, oh my gosh, right?
Wow.
And then when I started hearing people that were on the panel to speak, getting up and telling their stories, I was just like, this is like real estate church.
Right.
How do I become a member and pay my tithes?
Right.
So
real estate church. We might have to look at something like that.
No, seriously, that's what I would tell them. Like, because you go there, you're getting the real estate word. You're hearing people get up and talk about their experiences, and you know, it's like testimonies, you know. Right. And it put a fire in me, you know. And I started seeing people get up there to talk. I said, I'm going to do business with that person. I'm going to do business with that person. I targeted people, and every person that I targeted, I have a relationship with to this day. And I've done business with most of them in some capacity. So
right. That's what's up. You know, and that's, you know, it's interesting. You know, we talk about like, and you know, you're from probably a different genre, we'll call it, than I am. But most people's story in each, we'll call it well, not genre, I guess
generation.
Yeah. It's always a similar natural progression, right? So for me and my era, the people that started around the time I got started, they always talk about how they got started with the course, the Carlton Sheets course, or the course that they ordered off TV. So that was the progression during our era. And during the new era, the newer generation era, it's that weekend conference that they go to. And then, like, because back in those days, I didn't know about the weekend. There was no weekend conference that we could go to, or at least if there was one, it was probably so expensive we couldn't get in. But you know, it's interesting. Now I'm kind of looking at the natural progression of the different generations of how people get involved. And what you talked about was one of the things that I think many people miss the importance of in any generation was the networking. I mean, showing up and looking at people you can actually do business and build relationships with. And listen, you're one of the masters at that. I definitely say that.
Now, look, if I want to talk to you, I'm definitely going to come over and introduce myself. You know, and that's the key. You know, when a lot of people go to these meetings, you know, if I can give any piece of advice, like, don't hesitate to, you know, approach someone, you know, and actually don't just approach them, but have a game plan, have a strategy. When I targeted people that I wanted to do business with, I wanted to do business with these different individuals for a certain reason. Based on, okay, this is something that they do. So I'll use Will and Tim, for example, Wholesalers or Us. So when I saw them speak, I was like, I'm going to do business with them, right? So I ended up finding a deal, and I said, hey, I got a deal under contract, right? Because I knew that if I do my part and I bring something to the table, then now we have something that we can build on together and do business. So as I'm going to these meetings and they're saying, okay, you want to start learning how to wholesale, get out in the field, familiarize yourself with these neighborhoods. I chose to do bandit signs. I said, okay, I'm going to go get some signs and the staple gun, and I'm going to get out here and familiarize myself with the neighborhoods and put my signs out to make my phone ring, right? Generate some leads. Okay, I can skip trace and call people and ask them if they're interested in selling their property. Once I accomplish that part, I have people that I can call to help me close the deal. Right? A lot of people try to figure everything out 100% from the get-go. If you're green, it's okay. Be green. Hey, I'm brand new. Let me call my partner and, set up an appointment to come meet. And I would have, whether it was John or Don or, Will, Tim, whoever, meet me at these properties and analyze the deal and learn how to make the offer and, learn the process. So, and guess what? If I rather have a part of a deal than no deal. Right. So I'm actually about to park too. So you're about to have my safe, undivided attention. So everybody, do not do interviews and drive. Mom, if you're watching this, sorry, but I had to do what I had to do. Monique, do not be out there driving on that phone.
Right. I don't know if you can see any of the comments that my superstar watcher Ron Dimmock is putting up. I don't know if you can see his comments.
I just saw something, but I try not to do too much while behind the wheel.
Right.
Let me get my background together.
Okay. Uh-oh, I see you. That's what's up. That's what's up. Everybody eats. Good show.
Yeah, so for everybody that doesn't know, right here, I'm with my company is Youngstar Enterprises. So that's the brand that I have on. Also a member of Everybody Eats. So that's our real estate team. We focus on wholesaling. We're in the field. John, my partner John, the grind guy, got his vehicle wrapped, so just maintaining that visibility and all those things to maintain a presence. And just to keep yourself in the market, keep the brand out there. Brand awareness is very, very important. So I just kind of got off topic of what we were just talking about, Glenn, but that's what
No, you repping. No, that's what's up though. That's good. Listen, I told you, look, when you come on the show, you at home. You know what I mean? We just kicking it. I'm still looking at Ron's comments, man. Ron be killing me. Ron, listen, you it's time for you to get on the show again, man. It's time for you to come on.
I didn't. What did he say? I didn't see the comments.
Some of it you probably don't want to know.
Let's see comments. Here we go. Last year, Ricky White tore them a new one. Don Jacobs, Mo Hustle Smart. Aaron generation is.
He
got her own one. Here we go.
He posts some interesting comments. We'll say that.
I just saw them all. Okay. Cool. But back to what I was talking about, as far as basically positioning yourself, right? So as as new people are getting into the business, and if you are starting out on the wholesaling side, whether you're buying lists and cold calling from home, whether you're driving for dollars, whatever the case may be, find someone that you can definitely get with, whether it's a mentor, coach, or people that that are just actively in the business. So find a way to generate a lead. Once you generate a lead, it's so easy. Once you generate a quality lead, it's so easy
if you put forth the effort to network and engage yourself with people that are active in the business to make it to the closing table. Bring the quality lead. We'll help you get there.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So let's talk about that. Let's get into some of that. And I want to go back into the era and generation. And so we'll get into that in a little bit. But what's a quality lead? Like, what's the natural progression? What's the systematic way now, or systematized way now of going about obtaining a lead? And once you obtain a lead, then you said to give you a call. How does that process come together as a wholesaler? Now, we know you're on a whole nother level of doing some major stuff now that we definitely gonna get into. But as a wholesaler, how does that process work? Like, how do I get a lead, and what's the next step after that?
Okay, so again, you generate a lead, whether it's through driving for dollars, if you're buying lists that you're going to cold call, things like that. If you're cold calling if you're buying lists to cold call, you definitely want to be specific with the who you're targeting. So you have different types of leads that you can purchase. So say you can definitely, vacant is a very popular. So vacant just means that the property is assumed to be vacant, right? They're not always vacant, but for whatever reason on the list, the data that's generated, this property address is coming up as vacant. You can target, bankruptcy, right? So these are people that are in a financial situation, and they own property. And of course, it could be a situation, divorce. So basically, all the lead types are situational or circumstantial types of leads, meaning that, hey, I own a property and I have some type of financial burden or whatever the case may be, or some type of situation to where I'm needing to sell this property, right? Some people may just even be older. There's some people that we actually just closed with, and they're just older now. They're in their 70s. They have a whole bunch of rental properties. They want to just offload and enjoy the rest of their life. So everything is situational. But the thing is, when you actually get someone on the phone and you uncover, keyword, uncover their motivation to sell. So if you get someone on the phone, you really want to build rapport, but at the same time, start uncovering their motivation to sell. So I'll give you an example. I'll give you two examples. So one, hey, Mr. Glasper, see you own this house on 123 Main Street in Detroit, Michigan, but you have a 678 number. Do you live in Michigan or are you in Georgia? Right? I know that's an Atlanta area code, right? Right? Role play with me real quick, Glenn.
I got you. I live in Georgia, but I got property in Michigan.
Awesome. The property appears to be vacant, and just curious to know, are you currently accepting offers on the property? So now I'm gonna stop you right here. That was a quick role play. So Glenn, your response can be, yeah, give me an offer. I've got people making offers all day. What would you give me? Right? You haven't told. I don't know if you're motivated to sell or if people are calling you, so you just want to know what I'm gonna offer you, just just to see, because some people are just curious to know, well, how much will people offer me for my property, but they have no intention on selling, right? But now if I say, well, I'd be more than happy to make you an offer, based on the condition of the property, blah, 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 blah. But if you don't mind me asking, like, why are you looking to sell your property? And then as you tell me, you can say, well, I'm not really in a rush to sell. Or you can say, you know what, I'm in Atlanta. I don't have the time to even be bothered with my properties up there anymore. So, you're more than welcome to go take a look at it. And if you give me the right price, whatever, we can talk about doing business, right? So now you've given me a cue that you're possibly interested in doing business if the price is right. Now, if you're just telling me, oh, I just want to see, everybody's making me offers, just, let me see what you'll give me. You might just be wasting my time, So every person that you get on the phone, a lot of people try to force deals or make a lead a quality lead, and it's not necessarily a quality lead. Uncovered real motivation to sell. Once you have that, then you say, okay, hey, when can I schedule an appointment to go take a look at the property? If the seller is available to meet you at the property, go with contract in hand. I use my phone. I have a contract that I can pull up right on Adobe Fill and Sign, and we can sign literally on the spot, and I can email it to you right here. So if depending on what you prefer to do, but be prepared. And when you come to inspect the property, hey, I'm going to have one of my partners with me or my contractor with me to give me an idea of what we're looking at as far as the condition. And, you know, if I make you a fair offer, are you ready to do business?
Great stuff. Great stuff.
So then once you tell me, yeah, well, let's meet at the property on this date and time, then, hey, I'm going to pick up the phone as a newbie and call one of these people that I've met at a meetup, say, hey, I've got a lead. This is what they told me. They're interested. You know, from here, if you've got a buyer, I'd love for you to meet me at the property so we can lock this thing up, and boom. So that's who you take to the appointment with you, and you JV on a deal.
What's JV? What does that mean?
Joint venture. So we work together. It's kind of like a partnership on a particular deal, but it's a joint venture where we're going to work together to close the deal or do business together, period.
Okay, so now I've been told I ask questions like I'm a rookie. So let me specify to the audience that's watching.
Okay.
I know what these terms mean and I know what these things are, but for the benefit of those people that don't know, I ask these types of questions. I'm an interviewer. That's what I do. Somebody was like, I thought you knew how to do this stuff. Why are you asking those kind of questions? I'm like, it's for y'all to get it. I get it.
Right.
All right. Good stuff. I mean, so in something like that, like in a transaction like that, when you get to the point as a newbie, you know, and of course we're speaking from a newbie perspective, you go through that process. As a newbie, should I know any types of numbers or anything like that? Are those things relative when I'm talking about making an offer, or should I leave that up to the person that's going to go with me, or how does that part work?
It's good to know the numbers, but if you haven't been through that process before, you definitely just want to be honest and say, okay, hey, like ask questions, and that's part of, you know, as you continue to lock in more deals, get more deals under contract, you'll continue to learn more and you'll continue to grow. So, you know, if I'm like, hey, Glenn, I've got this deal, I don't know how to analyze it. You know, you definitely want to have a relationship with like an agent or a realtor, and understand, you know, really, okay, if you're looking at Zillow, right? When it comes to understanding the Zestimate, like, okay, the Zestimate is an estimate based on the details of the property. Condition is condition, right? But as a newbie, like literally, I had no clue how to analyze a deal or know anything about numbers. But one of the things I did, I remember it was funny. I got someone on the phone, like this when I first started cold calling, right? I got someone on the phone. When they answered, I was like, oh shoot, I've got another call coming in. Can I call you right back? And when I do, I'm actually going to have my my business partner on the line, because I had no clue what to say. Like they started like they were motivated, and I was just like, So I called Don, and I'm like, Don, I've got this person on the phone. Like they answered, I don't know what to say. He said, well, call them back on three-way, introduce me, and mute your phone.
Done.
Exactly what I did. And one thing I noticed, that when the seller was trying to get a number out of him, he did not make an offer, you know? And it was just about, well, I need to see the property. Right? Getting that appointment set, you know? And I took notes, and I was just like, okay, I never called Don for a three-way call. I got it. I was like, okay, I can handle that part. Right? And that's the thing. You have to be a student, but at the same time, in those teachable moments, take notes and learn. And then you apply what you learn. So on future calls, then now you get it.
But you said a major thing: apply what you learn. And oftentimes, like, it's so many people now. You know, I'm in the education space now, and I get so many people that they get all of this information, and you know, I understand. You know, real estate is I mean, it's so many different moving parts in what we do. So it's a lot to take in. You know, the steps of how to do certain things. It's a lot to take in. You know, but you get people that are excited to get involved in real estate, and I'm like, okay, if you do A, B, and C,
right,
D will come to you naturally.
Yep.
But then you got to know how to do E, F, and G, and then H will come to you. What do you say to the person that is consuming a lot of information? Like, what is the best mindset, or what mind place in their mind they should be to get them to get off the pot, or, you know, get them to, you know, poop or get off the pot? What kind of mindset shift would you say that they have to make in order to do that?
To be honest with you, I tell a lot of people, take one step at a time. Right? Take one step at a time, because a lot of new people are overwhelmed with all of the information. So it's like, they're not going out and driving for dollars, or generating or purchasing lists to call and cold calling, because they don't have a buyer's list. So now they're out there trying to create a buyer's list, but you're trying to create a buyer's list and you don't even know how to generate a deal.
Right.
So it's like, you can't put one foot ahead of the other, so you literally have to take it one step at a time, and just don't be in a rush. But you got to get off the pot. You got to start. That's the thing. You can't just sit there and just, you got to get off, and you got to get started. But one step at a time. It's funny. Well, we'll probably get to this later, but even in like renovations and projects, when I talk with clients, they're trying to see something before we even have a wall up. I take everything a step at a time. I know some people plan out. They already know what cabinets they're going to use, what color paint they're going to do before they even start the project. But that's just how I work. I like to do everything a step at a time, because it starts to come together. And a lot of times you kind of change or get some different ideas throughout the process. So I don't like to think too far ahead. I stay right where I am at the current moment. And then once we reach this point, then we go to the next step. Then we go to the next step. And the same thing with learning this business. Don't feel like I've got to get to the closing table by myself to say, oh, I did it. I found a deal. I had my buyer's list. I closed by myself. It is way better to work with other people. Glenn, I'd rather do 10 deals with you than 1 or 2 by myself.
Absolutely.
I'd rather,
And that's the thing, it's great that you mentioned that. That's the thing. That's the concept, I believe, that's gotten lost in what we do. One of the many concepts that's gotten lost in what we do. There was some times during, the new era where there was a lot of situations where people figured, I'm gonna get it done. I'm gonna get it done by myself. And oftentimes it's because of, I don't want to say the G word, greed, but it was because there was so much being shown as far as checks at the closing table and things like that, and how much you get paid on the deal. So everybody wants to rush to the table and make this 5-figure check all on their own, and having several mistakes happen in the midst of that, and potentially not even getting the deal closed, as opposed to putting themselves in position to where it might mean bringing in a JV partner or someone that can consult you to get the actual deal closed.
Right.
Put you in a position to get 50% of something instead of 100% of nothing.
Exactly.
So I mean, that's you're absolutely right. And there's been times that, and I'm sure you've been involved in situations like that where it might have been 2 or 3 people involved in the closing. I mean, not a daisy chain type of situation. That's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
But 2 or 3 people involved in getting the deal to close, as a collective effort where everybody where everybody ate.
And an example is like, say for instance, like I'll use John for an example. John's been in the business for 21 years now, right? John's relationships are way deeper than mine, right? So his Rolodex of buyers is there. So there may be someone that may bring me a deal, and it's just like, you know what? I know John has the buyer for this deal. Right. So now I'm taking your deal to John, and it's a deal that, like you just said, so it's a situation, but it's a good deal for that buyer, and it's a situation that's going to meet the needs of that seller.
Definitely. Yeah. And that's a matter of doing what we do, where not only everybody eats, but everybody wins. You know what I mean? In situations like that, I always talk about creating win-win-win situations.
Oh, wait. Can I flip my camera on this thing? How do you do this?
Yeah. Ah, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. For everybody to eat. That's what's up. Definitely got to point that out. Tell Johnny got to watch that car though. But no, listen, I mean, and that's, that concept in and of itself is paramount of what we do and how we continuously maintain the level of success that we have,
Mm-hmm.
with understanding that you can't do it all by yourself.
Yeah.
So, putting yourself in situations where you have a network, I mean, there's been leads that I've had that I sent to you all before. I mean, I don't know what we did with them,
Yeah.
but it's like when you have other people's, collective efforts and knowledge and experience to leverage, why not use that?
Exactly. Yep.
You know what I mean? So, definitely that's great. It's great. I mean, then he has it on the card. That's a definite point for people to understand how we do business.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep. But I'll tell you, and I know you can attest to this. Atlanta is one of a kind.
It is.
When it comes to the camaraderie that we have, the way we support each other.
Yeah.
The networking, the willingness to share information, do business together, in Michigan, I did not see what I saw here. Right.
Absolutely.
And I'm talking about like from strangers, like being able to walk into a meetup of 100 people by yourself and not know anyone, and be able to leave feeling motivated, inspired, fired up, business cards, new contacts that you're walking away with, like the positive energy. A lot of times that's all people need.
Yes.
They just need, I'm sorry. Yeah, they just need a little motivation, a little inspiration, and like that's it. And to us it's so minute, but I remember, because I mean it wasn't long ago where I was figuring this thing out, and I'm still figuring it out. We're always learning every day.
Absolutely.
We're always learning.
So let's get into a little more of your progression, right? Let's go back to that. So we talked about the eras and the generations and things like that. It would be safe to say that you would be considered a millennial. Am I right?
Borderline, but yeah.
Borderline.
I'm a 1981 baby. Yeah.
What is it?
1981.
19. Okay, so you borderline.
I'm an original 80s baby. Yeah.
Right. True 80s baby. Yeah, I was back when the real afros and all that was happening. So from a millennial perspective, what would you say to, I mean, you talked about corporate working millennials. What would you say to millennials that are looking at real estate as an option, as opposed to the several other things that are going on in the market, the crypto and the all the other things? Would you say real estate investing is still the best option, or a good viable option to earn?
It's a top three.
Yeah.
It's the top three option for sure. One thing that I learned was that so many people in different industries invest in real estate. People that invest their money, whether it's a doctor, lawyer, people in the entertainment industry, certain people that I follow, celebrities, and you see them going to check in on a project that they have in motion, and it's just like, wow. But the thing is, like, for people that want to see their money really grow versus just sitting in a bank and generating very little money, to basically like no money really on an annual basis, they understand that real estate is an asset. It's always going to be needed because people will always need somewhere to live. People are always being born, and the economy is always changing. It's always evolving. Things happen, but real estate is not going anywhere.
True story. I was talking to reason I asked that question, I was talking to a quote unquote millennial, and we were talking about real estate investing, and they were talking about I won't say exactly what the other thing. They were talking about investing in something else. And they're like, well, if I invest this in this, I can make $30,000, right? But if I invest this in real estate, I'm only going to make $50,000, right? And looking at when we looked at the overall of what they were looking at, they weren't counting the $50,000 as cash. They were counting it as just equity, right? As opposed to the $30,000 in cash. And I asked the question, I said, if you get that $30,000, where are you going to put it to make it grow? In the bank? Right?
He said he's going to go buy crypto.
It probably something, yeah. But, and crypto is volatile. It's more volatile than real estate. In my opinion, I'm not a crypto expert, but that's just how I feel about it.
This new generation, like, they are so in tune with that.
Yeah, yeah, and that's fine. I mean, I rock with it a little bit. I got some Bitcoin coins.
I'm actually, I've recently just gotten hip to it.
Yeah, I mean, I like I said, I'm not an expert at it. I just I got money in a few different places, so I put some over there just to see what it does. If it works, it works. If it doesn't,
See, guys, everybody, hold on. Glenn just says something, right? For everybody that's new, that's looking to get into the investing world, he said, I've got money in a few places, like it's nothing, like I got money in a few different places,
Listen,
but you know what though, Glenn? Like, those comments, some people will say, oh man, like, certain things that people may say, it's bragging, or people that are doing XYZ, it seems arrogant. Like, no, like, they're letting you know it's real, it's attainable, so I'm sorry, continue. But when you said that, like,
but
those
you're
are
right, and I just breezed by that, but you're absolutely right. I mean, and just to that point, like, I don't know how to brag. I grew up in the hood. Everything I get now, I appreciate. You know what I mean? So, but what we're talking about, I mean, that's just diversification for me. But that
absolutely
came about as the possibility of that became as a result of real estate, right? If I wasn't doing what I was doing, what I'm currently doing, I don't know what else I would be doing to be able to have the ability to put stuff in other places, money in other places. You see what I mean? So real estate is my first love, we'll call that. You know what I mean? It's my first passion. But as I was talking about that, as it relates to equity and cash, even though there's 50,000 in equity, that could potentially grow. Right? And we were talking about, actually, let me tell you, another person I was talking to, they said, if I spend $30,000, if I spend $30,000 to buy a property in real estate, I'm only going to make $800 a month on that $30,000. Only because they're expecting to get all of their money back and then some right away.
Right.
And what I had explained to them, I said, the asset that you're purchasing in 2 to 5 years will increase another $150,000, right? Because it's a multi-unit. And it was like it was hard for them to grasp the understanding that you have control of an asset. And we're talking about buying something in Detroit on land contract, right? For those of you who don't know, it's basically another form of seller financing. So putting $30,000 down and getting $800 a month cash flow,
right?
They couldn't grasp the concept of parting ways with that $30,000 and only getting $800 a month. And I'm like, do you realize that you're getting control of an asset for, it was about $300,000. So they're putting 10% down. You're getting control of this type of asset for only $30,000 to be able to make the type of cash flow at $800 a month. Do you know how much money you would typically have to spend, especially in our market here in Atlanta? But kind of money you would have to spend to get an $800 a month cash flow. You see, and that was the hard part of them to be able to grasp that concept.
But even if when you look at what you're financing, and just like a lot of people are doing Turo, we'll use that as an example, right? So if you have a car that you're leasing or you have a note on, say you're paying $300 a month, but Turo is bringing in $700 a month. Right. Now your car expenses are covered plus profit. Right.
Absolutely.
And then some people have maybe three or four cars out on Turo. So now when you think about, the volume that you're doing, over the course of time, it's a profitable situation. But at the same time, like you said, it's something that you have control over at the same time.
Definitely.
But I think one of the major things that's important, and just major keys that's important, is teaching children these things at an early age. I think it's hard for us to grasp a lot of things Even those that are young that are up on, crypto and, just different investment opportunities. If they learned it as an adult on their own, but they weren't raised to kind of get an idea of understanding what an asset is, knowing what compound interest. There's this man, he is looking at the Eerrbody Eats truck. I think he just memorized the phone number. But when you're raised, when these things are instilled in you as a child, it's like it's embedded in you. So I think with our culture, now, I don't have any kids, but like, for instance, your children, Glenn, they're growing up seeing something different than what you saw as a child.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
So what's being instilled in them at a young age as a youth is different from what was instilled in us when we were coming up, because, our parents weren't raised that way. You learn things as an adult. But I think as we continue to pass these things down from generation to generation, and the more of us that continue to grow, like even these younger kids now, as they start having children, what they'll be seeing their parents do, and what they'll be, people are purchasing property in their children's names. So instead of putting phone bills in kids' names, now they're putting property in kids' names.
Definitely.
So a kid can come up and say, oh, I have a house, 7 years old. They know that they own property. Right. So a lot of the Jewish communities and, some of these other communities that stick tight together and have been instilling these things in their communities over all these years. I think it's just something that we just have to continue to make present in our culture.
Absolutely. Yeah. So my son, who's 5 years old, has an LLC.
Okay.
And it was started when I think he was like a year old. And he now owns, actually, I think this is his second property that we've purchased in his LLC. So
does he know that he owns property?
I haven't told him that yet. We've gone to the houses and he's seen, he seems like, oh, this what daddy does. Right. But what I've started him on a few years ago, actually from the age of 3, is showing him how to make deposits. Right. So every week he gets a certain amount of money and he's like, Daddy, it's time to make my deposit. I got money on my desk that we still haven't taken to his bank, which is in my, for those of you that y'all don't know where I live, but that's his bank right over there.
Got you.
So he knows how to make deposits. So I get him in that habit of just the words. You see what I mean? Yeah, we don't go to the bank to make a deposit. That's the bank for him. But now he understands that he makes a deposit, right? And then he says, well, now I have money to do this and do that. He wants to buy Legos and all these other toys. And he said, can I get money out of deposit? And I said, well, what that is that's making a withdrawal. And if you make a withdrawal and you buy toys, I call it ROI. I say, what's your ROI? Which is your return on investment, ROI. And he said, well, I get to play with the toys. And I said, how long will that last? Well, I like Legos. Okay, so you've got a ton of Legos and you buy some more and you don't play with the other ones anymore. You buy new ones and then those go to the side. Then they're still not creating any value for you. So I teach him about, assets and liabilities and things like that.
Yeah.
So he has an understanding of what it is. But like you mentioned, it's something that the language that we need to be having with our children at early ages, even at a young age of 3, 4, 5 years old. Shout out to Chris O'Neill, whose daughter is doing some amazing things. I forgot her name. Superstar. I can't remember her name now. But Chris O'Neill's daughter, she had a music video talking about putting money in the bank.
Okay.
So it's stuff like that, like you mentioned, we need to really be having conversations with kids at a very early age,
And I've even heard, like, I think Big Sean said in the song, it was something that he bought with crypto. He went to something and bought something with crypto.
Right.
So it's just, things that we hear that's relative to the culture, things like that. Is transitioning. But I mean, I hear so many people talking about crypto. Like, we had a meeting on Friday and I was just saying how, I recently downloaded a couple apps and, whatever, like, coins or, things like that I've recently acquired. It was a guy at another table, him and his girlfriend. He said, "Hey, I overheard your conversation. Buy this coin. Like, this is what you need to get. I heard you say this, but this." I was like, "Oh, okay." But it was a young dude. And I mean, but he was just going on. And I was just like, whoa, 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 wait. And I'm in my phone, like trying to, okay, wait, how do you know? But I was like, that's awesome. But I mean, that's what they're on.
Right.
They're on.
Good stuff.
So the people are definitely, I think, as far as the number of people that are investing in real estate, I think I've seen it grow a lot. And even just people talking about it more, getting into flipping or, whatever the case may be. So
yeah, it's definitely, and I look at it like this. I mean, like you said, there are entertainers and all sorts of other people that invest in real estate. I can't rap. I can barely dance that good, but I know
what's
how to.
What's that record on your wall back there?
Oh, that's that's
I thought you had a secret talent. I was gonna say, Glenn, did you use it in your previous life? Is that a platinum record?
No. That's actually shout out to my coach Markwell Russell. That's the 6-figure
Oh,
earner,
chill.
the six-figure earner award right there. So
okay.
yeah.
See, look, I know Markwell is chill. I know him like from a way back long time ago.
Oh yeah.
Markwell Chill Russell. Yeah, his name was Chill. That's what's up. Okay.
So let me point that out again. That's the 6-figure earner award right there.
Congrats. Congrats.
But yeah, so and all of these things, it's interesting that we're talking about, entertainers and different people that have different skills still gravitate to investing in real estate, right? But those of us that don't have those particular types of skills, real estate is where we start. And it gives us the ability to be able to invest on a level as an entertainer would. But listen, I mean, these are the things that are paramount for us to be paying attention to. When you got people who, and we're going to get to what Monique is actually doing, what Mo Hustle's doing. She's working on some major stuff that I dare not let this show pass without giving her an opportunity to talk about it. Okay. So why are you doing that? Real quick, what was the transition like? Like, what made you get into project management and then doing new construction, from being what people consider a lowly wholesaler? What made you take the next step? Or how did you take the next step, I should ask?
So for me, I always knew what my end goal was long term, right? So I identified what I ultimately wanted to do in this business early.
Wow.
And yeah, and I shared that information with people.
While we're doing that, I want to make sure I point out, people have asked, how do I sponsor the show, or how can I become a sponsor of the show? There's a link in the comments, either up or down, where you can actually click on the Cash App link. I don't really, my team tells me I still have to do this, to click on the link and make your Cash App donation to Real Life Real Estate Investing. And I'm getting threatening text message reminders to make sure I tell people to like, share, and subscribe. I know I'm probably doing this way late in the show, but like, share, and subscribe, and make sure you tell people about the show, and make your donation. $5, $10, whatever the case may be. You can be a sponsor on the show, and we'll give you a shout out. I hope I did it. I did what they told me to do. What's up, Yancy? I just saw that was your comment, man. I couldn't see that was you on the other side. Thank you for popping in with us today. Did you make it back from Spain or China, wherever it was you went? I know you were doing some traveling. Let's see if we're gonna get Mo back in. Oh no, she's still working on it. So we got a few more minutes. Does anybody have any questions? I want to make sure.
Sorry, I couldn't hear what you said.
I want to make sure we got an opportunity to answer any questions that folks may have. Of course, that's another thing we're supposed to do. Is this is an interactive show. We want to make sure folks get an opportunity to get their questions answered as it relates to investing in real estate. Is it anything you want to know from me, or is there anything you want to know from Mo about what she's doing and how she's doing it? So tell us about the progression from wholesaling to project management to now doing new construction and new development.
So one of the things that I identified early on was, you know, what my passion was or the direction that I wanted to go in the business. So early on, I knew that I wanted to get into, at the time, renovating properties. And John knew that, right? So like when I got in, like anybody that I worked closely with, like they knew like, okay, like Mo's wholesaling, but she wants to do renovations and get into the construction side. So they were in the field, and he was like, you know, he called me and he was just like, hey, there's this builder that I want to introduce you to. Like he does great quality work. You know, I'm about to go meet him, pull up at this address. So I said, okay, great. So he introduced me to Tori with Westside Community Builders. And yep, we pulled up over on him. He was finishing a renovation, and I was just like, wow, you know. So that was my first time actually walking through a property and really kind of interacting with a builder at that capacity, as far as like, you know, getting things broken down to me, you know, things like that. So if you know me and I've ever shadowed you, you know, once I get your phone number and I'm available, I'm going to call you and say, hey, are you in the field? Where are you? Can I pull up? That's what I said. So I started calling Tori like, hey, where are you? So he was actually starting another project. And it was basically new construction because it was almost a complete tear down, but the foundation was good. So just had to basically kind of build from the foundation, but it was considered a renovation. And I saw that process from beginning to end. And I was just like, hey, if you need me to go to Home Depot or like whatever I can do to help, like I want to learn this process. And I was just like, hey, you know what? Like, you ever thought about like starting a project management service? Like, you know, because I noticed people would always call them and have questions, or, hey, can you come help me? I'm stuck at this point, or, you know, somebody did something wrong, but he was always getting these calls to come bail people out of situations with their projects. So long story short, we started project managing, and I was his assistant project manager. So that was February 2017. So once I got a couple of years under my belt, I was just like, okay, like, I think I'm about ready to start doing this. However, you know, I didn't feel like I was in position myself, you know, to actually go and do my own project, right? So, just by chance, a situation presented itself where an investment opportunity came. And they were just like, well, hey, you know what? I'm willing to partner with you or invest. Just find a good deal, and like, why aren't you doing your own? Like, it's time for you to go do. And I was like, oh, okay. And it was like literally like out the blue. The conversation, like, it was totally unexpected. So I'm sitting there thinking, and I'm like, well, I do have this one deal that's like a great deal. I had a lead that when I was driving for dollars back in 2017. So fast forward now to 2019, this young guy that I've known for years, he's like, you know, Mo, I want to get on the phones and start learning how to wholesale, you know, whatever. So I said, well, here's this old list, you know, scrub it. It's from like 2017. Just go through. It's already, you know, the leads have been skip traced. And he said, I got an appointment. This seller, he said he really needs to sell this lot. Do y'all buy lots? And I was like, yeah, you know. So I had it under contract with one of my buyers, and there were a lot of title issues that my buyer didn't want to deal with. She couldn't proceed on that deal, but I still have the relationship with the seller. The seller was like needing to get this property off of his hands. There was demo lien on it, you know, outstanding water bill, some other stuff going on, just like all these things. And it was just piling up and piling up. So I was like, you know what? I do have a deal, right? So I presented it. shot them the numbers on it, for the area. These are what the current new construction comps are, based on what I'm doing now, I can actually build out a scope of work myself, so I sent them the deal. 2 weeks later, we had acquired the property.
Mm.
And from there, I started my first new construction project.
Wow. And you've done a few to date. Was that your first one? Is that your only one?
That was my first one.
Okay.
I've
Is this
done,
the one that's on the market now?
it's under contract. Yeah, it's under contract. Yep. So
Wow.
on the market, and not even 48 hours of being on the market, we had an offer.
Wow.
So
Great stuff. So what's the I guess again the mindset, right? To go from wholesaling to project management. I mean, you mentioned that you identified what you wanted to do. Is that something that you would suggest to anybody that looks into what we're doing as a real estate investor? Identify what their long-term goals are. Okay, good stuff.
I would. I know some people that are interested in getting their license and becoming an agent, right? But working with investors, right? So if that's what you want to do, then you go find an agent that is investor friendly. So you have agents that are listing properties for a lot of investors, right? Go get with one of those people and start learning what they do. Okay. I think, but for some people don't know what they want to do early on. They have no clue. They just want to learn and get in. So don't feel pressured to feel like, well, I need to figure out what I want to do, because some things come to some people quicker than others. And then sometimes some things are uncovered to you at a certain point in your life.
Definitely.
That's your time, right? So, if you're unsure of what you want to do in the business, but know that you're interested in real estate investing, take your time and let it come to you.
Definitely.
So I think it just depends on the individual. So
I'm sorry, looking at this comment, Rob.
That's not what we're talking about. Continue.
That's my guy right there, boy. He's something else. All right.
Stay on track, Glenn. We'll stay focused.
I know, right? So, it's good that I have folks like Ron that come on. Like Ron's been on for the last few weeks, and I think he comes on to try to rattle me. He's been doing a pretty good job. Oh wait, who is this? Shoot.
Ron is married. Nobody's shooting their shot.
No, right. Yeah, no. I don't think you know that. What's up, Armand? Shout out to Armand. But listen, you covered a great deal of stuff, and I definitely want to thank you for jumping on with us. What would you say to the new person, or anybody that's looking at doing this, or that's even in it right now? What advice would you give them about going to the next level, or at least, or somebody that's looking at this for the first time? What advice would you give them?
You got to be persistent and consistent. If you put in the work, don't be afraid to fail. That's the best way to learn, right?
Absolutely.
When a loss is a lesson learned, so look at that L as a positive and not a negative, right? You make a mistake, right? You make a supposed mistake. Don't make the same mistake twice. You learn from those things and you move on to make them make you better, make you stronger. But definitely advice, get in the business. If you're working a full-time job, like I was when I started, I had one off day during the week. The other off day was during the weekend, Sunday. That off day that I had during the week, I took advantage of it. I called people that I knew were full-time in the business, and I spent that day doing that. I spent my day shadowing, driving for dollars, putting up signs, and cold calling. Maximize the time that you have. Don't feel like, oh, I don't have the time. If you have one day that you can contribute per week and you're doing that every week, you'll see the results over time.
Absolutely, absolutely. You said the words learn and earn. I was watching somebody, and they said that the more you learn, you get an opportunity to drop the L and earn.
I like that.
I said, wow, okay, I'm gonna have to use that. I forgot who it was. I would give you credit if I remember who you was, but since I don't know, I can't remember who it was, I have to take credit for myself this time.
I like that.
But listen, great stuff. Thank you for definitely stopping by. And I know, like I said, you're out in the field, you're doing your thing. Thank you for taking the time to come on and share your wisdom and your knowledge with us. And I would say that you are definitely seasoned in the game, because you're at a whole nother level. Like I haven't even done new construction. I've done a lot of redevelopment, but not any new development yet myself. And that's something I may do or may not do. I don't want to work that hard anymore. But
another piece of advice too, right? I didn't go when the opportunity. So for everybody that's maybe just getting in or whatnot, I'm currently doing new construction projects. So I just completed one. It's on the market. It's under contract. We have another one that's underway, and I've got another one that hopefully I'm submitting a building permit application for top of next week. And then there's a small development that we're actually in the process of getting designs. So we're going to do a small townhome development.
Wow.
The opportunity for me to get into my first project, I'm not going to say it fell in my lap, but it presented itself to me. So when opportunity knocks on your door, a lot of times we're the reason that we don't succeed because we miss out on opportunities. So making sure that you're always aware and don't be scared, because guess what? If I felt like, oh shoot, I have an opportunity, but I'm not ready, or whatever the case may be, every opportunity that's presented itself to me, when you take it, it happens to work out. You have, I've got the best support, Glenn, everybody, people that are in the comments, my team members, my family, my friends. When you're surrounded with people and you have the right energy and the right vibes, and you know that you got God on your side, you won't fail. You put in the work. You may not know today, just like when you have a kid, your first child, and I don't know because I don't have any kids yet. You don't know how to be a parent, but you figure it out along the way.
True story.
Right?
Yeah.
So all the things that I've learned, it was time for me to apply what I learned. Going back to what we talked about earlier, it was time for me to apply what I learned for myself now. And when that property hit the market and went under contract like that, and even though the market is hot, the feedback that I got on the quality of the build when people came out to the open house, and for everybody that's come out to the actual property, that was the confirmation for me that, okay, job well done.
Right.
So it goes back to saying, okay, overcoming fear. Don't let yourself be your holdback. Don't let yourself be the reason that you don't get off the pot, as you said, Glenn, and make something happen. So
definitely. Great stuff. Hey, listen, do me a favor. I got another meeting to go to, but listen, shoot me the address of where you're gonna be at. I'm gonna pull up today.
Okay.
I'll be in the field in a little while.
Okay.
But again, thank you. It's always great having you. I'll say this every time you come on. Welcome home.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
This is your show. I'm just here facilitating. But listen, thank you for stopping by. Thank y'all for chiming in. Thank our number one fan, Ryan Denmark, for chiming in as well. And listen, shout out to the grind guy for giving up his spot and he'll be on with us next week. And I know he's gonna drop some major nuggets, just in time for the word of the month. And everybody eats. But listen, this has been the Real Life Real Estate Investing Show, where we talk about real life real estate situations, where we bring you real life real estate solutions. And I will certainly be looking for you all next week.